Hey guys, it's Ross on Spacecraft Today. I acquired this for £2 from last week's car boot sale. The complete book of flight, and this is civil aviation. There you just see on the back. So I'll just slip it out of its dust jacket. It is the same on there. I always like when they have that on there as well, because sometimes if it's just like a completely black cover or something, it's not very interesting. So let's see what we have. So that's done like one of the old airport departure boards. There's a nice 747. Singapore Airlines, I think, I'm not sure. No, it's KLM, sorry. So there's a bit about the early days of flight. So you see Leonardo's drawings there, and that's the Montgolfier brothers balloon. And then learning from birds, for instance. Of course, that famous photo of the Wright brothers and the first flight of the Wright Flyer. So, the different decades it mentions. Actually, we'll just go back one page, I think. The long way to non-stop. So, the first flights from the UK to Australia and how many stops there were. And as a guide and all the different attempts that there were. So yes, flying becomes socially acceptable in the 1920s and 1930s. So like the days of Imperial Airways and all that sort of thing. And then it has like a timeline in the 20s and 30s of the various developments. So say for instance, 1935, the American aviation pioneers Will Rogers and Wiley Post suffer a fatal accident during takeoff at Point Barrow, Alaska. 1939, the first Boeing 314 in the Pan Am fleet is named Yankee Clipper by Mrs. Roosevelt, who was the then First Lady. Towards the jet era, the 40s and the 50s. A comparison, this is a Singapore Airlines A380 private suite in first class. And this is probably Pan Am on one of their Clippers. Yeah, on a 377. Then the 50s to the 60s. So that's a DC-6 or DC-7, I think. The oil crisis and the first insolvencies. The 70s and 80s. That looks like one of Burt Rutan's ships. The fly, I forget what it was called. Yeah. From 1 cent to $100,000 per seat. The 90s and the 2000s. So you see a Concorde and an A380. I'll start going through it a little bit faster. The genealogy of airlines. So let's have British Airways. So this is from, was it 72, I think, 74, where they were British Airways solely. And all of the companies that led up to them, like so Imperial Airways and the companies that formed it, then BOAC and all the various airlines that it took over. So the commercial airliner. So there's a Junkers Fokker, Junkers U52, I think that is. TriStar and the later BWIA livery. Did I miss an interesting page or not? Not really. The early Boeings. And it has a section on each of the major manufacturers. So there is the 707 and the 727, so Sabina and Pan Am. 737. And this is all the different lengths up to, I think, the 900. So that's the 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900. So yes. So obviously it doesn't include the later generation of the Maxes. Then it's on the 747. Seven 757, 767 and 777. And the 787, which was not yet in service when this book came out. So that's a CGI image. There's also one of Hawaiian Airlines A350-800, which obviously they've just taken delivery of 2 of their 787s. So now we have the Douglas/McDonnell Douglas story. There's the DC-3 there. The 5, 6 and 7. Very rare, only KLM operated them. There's only about a dozen built. the DC-8 and the DC-9 and its derivatives. The DC-10 and the MD-11. United Infinite, and that's KLM. So we have then the Airbus story. So the A300 and the A310. So that's Condor, but it's in a Lufthansa livery because it's on lease. And that is at Royal Jordanian. Yes. Then the A320 family from the 18 through to the 21. The A330 and the A340. And there is a Hawaiian A350. So this is quite a recent book, as these things go, some 15 years or so, and there is a Singapore A380. What else do we have? Then some Tupolev planes. Doesn't have the 134, the 104, or the 124 on there, but it does have their later ones, and the classic 154. Then that's like Dornier, from the DOX to the 328 jet. You have like say ATR and Fokker. Concorde. Then there's a bit on the active world fleet of airlines, but obviously that's a bit difficult to read that text. So what else do we have? Then there's a bit about airports. So there's about airports, say, in the Central America, Caribbean. South America. Various airports in South America lists. Europe, Africa. There's like SAA A340, I think that is. Then various airlines at lists. It's interesting. Are those all? Is it? It's not exactly alphabetical, but it might be alphabetical per country, I'm not sure. So let's say Air Jamaica, Avianca. And Air Greenland A330. Obviously they've just taken A330-800 recently. Others you see in SAA 747. Thai Airways, amongst others. So yes, it's a great book. Then there's a section low cost carriers. But it's like this, say, if there's photos I'll show you. Nope. That's a bit just about round the world flights. Difference between first business and economy. Bit about duty free and lounges. It's about tracking the flight across the Atlantic. Bit about night flights. Now there's a bit on ETOPS with the different bubbles showing the ranges permitted for the different rules. Was it 16, 90, 120, and all the other ones has been since I think the modern times of like 240 ETOPS limit now or something. There's like time zones. And that's about it, I think. Yes, there's a section on hijackers and specifically on September 11th. And then you see someone, I don't know if that's Mojave, but it's been one of those boneyards. So yes, for £2, an absolutely fantastic bargain, and I'm always looking for new aviation books, as you know. Delighted with this one, and it was not the only one I picked up. I'll show that one to you next. Please subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this content. Leave me a comment suggestion for a topic you'd like to see discussed, or like the video.